So apparently the Nintendo Direct is looking like it's going to air next week, and a lot of people think it's going to be Tuesday, but whatever day it's going to be, we know it's actually this month, and we only have a couple weeks left of June. So clearly the Direct is coming very, very soon, because Nintendo's already stated that it was coming this month. But with that said, we really don't know much else about the show. We're just speculating right now. There's been a couple of rumors, and everything else is just kind of up in the air for what Nintendo's going to show off for the rest of this year before moving on to the beloved Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be called. But one thing that I wanted to sit and do is talk about what a perfect Nintendo Direct would look like for this showcase. Now, when I say perfect Nintendo Direct, I'm not going to sit here and just start naming 18 Switch 2 games and just huge game after huge game after huge game. I'm being realistic with this perfect Direct prediction. This is, to me, what Nintendo should do based on, the fact that they're at the end of the current Switch life cycle and about to move on to Switch 2, and this is just what I feel like Nintendo should do if they want to have a really perfect show. Now, of course, there's probably never going to be an actual perfect Nintendo Direct for everybody because everybody's different and everybody wants something different, but I'm going to try to put together what I believe would be an overall perfect looking Nintendo Direct. So thank you so much for tuning in. Sit back, relax, and make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Nintendo as we dive through what a perfect Direct could look like this year. So to get expectations set right off the bat, we can't expect huge things in this Nintendo Direct. There could be some big surprises, but huge things as in like one of the biggest, grandest Directs of all time is just not going to happen. Remember, this is the end of current Nintendo Switch, and Nintendo's already said that during this fiscal year they're going to talk about Switch 2, so that's probably when all the big bombshells are going to drop. But it doesn't mean this Direct is going to be boring either, but just setting expectations. But first off, the show has to start off with something interesting. It's got to grab our attention, and based off of what I'm feeling, I do feel like this Direct is going to be full of remakes, remasters, and ports. Not only those, I do feel like there's going to be some new things, but I feel like the show is going to start off with a big remake, and they've definitely done that in the past, and I feel like this is a good situation for this as well, and it's going to be something that people really have been asking for or really wanted for a very long time. This includes something maybe like Kid Icarus Uprising finally coming away from the 3DS imprisonment that it's in, and finally reaching modern consoles with Nintendo Switch. We could have F-Zero GX, which has been rumored over and over again. I feel like that's a pretty big one coming from the GameCube, as we really haven't had an F-Zero game since. Obviously, with F-Zero 99, it's kind of bringing F-Zero back into the spotlight, so this would be very huge. But, I mean, also, the Prime games could work here as well, or maybe even something Zelda-related. There's a lot of options they can open the show with if they are going remake or remaster. I don't think Wind Waker or Twilight Princess is big enough to start the show, even though a lot of people would love that. I think it'd be something like an Ocarina of Time remake. So something that's being remade, not a remaster, a remake of some sort of a game that a lot of people are looking forward to. I'm still going Kid Icarus or F-Zero. It just sounds right. It just makes sense, but we're just going to have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm guessing Nintendo's going to start the show with a big remake or remaster, and I think that would be the best potential for them to have a really great start to the show. Then we jump into headlines, and I think it'd be perfect to see some Mario spin-offs. For instance, the Mario sports game that's next in line is going to be Mario Baseball, and it looks perfect. Tons of characters, fun fields and game modes and multiplayer options and online and even leaderboards and like an online league you can create in your own team and customization. Yes, they finally made a good sports game. It's going to blow people out of the water, and it's finally going to be on track to finally bring Mario Sports back to where it's supposed to be. Once again, extremely wishful thinking, but that would make it perfect so far. I think people would love to see a really well done Super Mario Sluggers style Mario Baseball game again. More headlines include another look at Luigi's Mansion 2, but it's extremely tiny, just like a 30-second to a minute look, and just a reminder that it's coming out in like a week by the time that the show is airing. We get some smaller games that we normally would see in a Nintendo Direct, but this time they're actually games that some people would care about. For instance, you see some smaller things like a new Stretch Mo game or Push Mo or something along those lines. There's been some, not even rumors, but I guess an updated trademark for Stretch Mo, so maybe this is where we see a small Stretch Mo game, or maybe even another surprise smaller series come back. Something like Rhythm Heaven would be so good. It's been so long since the last Rhythm Heaven, so seeing one or two of these would make this Direct even more perfect. Just some small surprises that some of those niche audiences would really enjoy. And it's not like Rhythm Heaven is just like completely dead because of sales or something. I mean, believe it or not, Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix, which was like a big collection of the Rhythm Heaven games on the 3DS, actually sold just over 1 million, which is the second best selling in the series, which isn't saying a lot when there's only like 4 games. But with that said, I still think there's a chance we could see another one, and it would be huge, honestly. We then move in towards the middle of the show, and we get two spotlights back to back, and they're both smaller ones, but the first one is a big remake for Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War. Whether it be a 2D HD style remake or a complete from the ground up rebuild, something like modern Fire Emblem games, I think it's finally time for this thing to happen. We've been talking about this for a while, and I think Fire Emblem fans would love something like this to finally remake this game after it's been talked about for years now. Since this is a from the ground up remake, Nintendo would probably want to dive into some information about this game for a while. Probably like 3-4 minutes would probably be perfect. And then I see another spotlight right after it, a smaller one. This might not even be a spotlight, because I feel like a lot of the time it's just a headline that's just going through and you're like, oh, it's another Mario Party. But yeah, Mario Party, I think it's finally coming back. So to have a new Mario Sports title in a Mario Party is perfect for Mario's game reveals during the show, and I think a lot of people would be excited. This Mario Party game will be just like the originals, having classic boards and a lot of boards this time around. No stupid updates waiting for the game to essentially be finished. Tons of mini games, tons of characters, and it just looks like a classic fun style of Mario Party game. Maybe with a couple additional added twists or something, but overall people are going to love it. It's going to be massive. It's going to be great to end off on the Switch. Then we jump back into spotlights, and you have some fun third-party game announcements coming to Switch, and I don't really keep up to all the third-party game rumors that could be coming to Switch right now. I feel like the bigger games are going to wait until Switch 2, but maybe some fun surprises. Maybe a new trailer for Sonic Time Shadow Generations would be really cool to see some new gameplay footage from that. But overall, just some small little, maybe some surprises to make us say, oh, maybe like that Pac-Man World 2, you know what I'm saying? Because we got Pac-Man World 1, what was that, like a year or two ago? So there's a good chance we could maybe see something like that. That'd be awesome. But we got some remakes, some remasters, but what about some ports? Well, I could see there being some headlines where Nintendo just like, boom, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse from the Wii U coming to Nintendo Switch. There was a new patent that was placed for that game, so it very well could happen. And also, they could be like, boom, Xenoblade X is also coming to Nintendo Switch. Of course, fans have been waiting for this one. These are some of like the last Wii U games to come to Switch. You could even stretch it and maybe say something like Yoshi's Woolly World, since it was just on the Wii U and the 3DS. But these are like the last two main like Wii U games that we haven't seen again. So I think they both have a good chance of being here. And since they were Wii U games, probably just some slight tweaking, just making it look right, and then just throwing it on the Switch since it's already in HD, which would be pretty cool, and I can definitely see that happening. And we finished the rest of the headlines with some smaller things, some more remakes or remasters that we've already been talking about, like that Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Metroid Prime 2 or 3. There's others that could fit the bill. There's even been rumors of Star Fox Assault making a return on Nintendo Switch, which would be crazy. Maybe some more 3DS games like Tomodachi Life, the two Kirby games, or even Link Between Worlds getting a remake. So there's a lot of remakes they could go with. If they just picked some of them, this would be a really good Nintendo Direct. I mean, literally just 2 or 3, maybe even like 1 or 2. I think fans would be very excited just to have some of those in the headlines. For those that haven't played Star Fox Assault, let me tell you right now, this would actually be a really extremely good idea for the Star Fox franchise right now, because it's a really good game. With some improved controls and some fixing with the ground combat, this game is actually a blast, and the multiplayer could be just as fun as it used to be, and there could even be online now. Like, I'm actually really hoping this is real. Then we reach the end of the Nintendo Direct, and it's already been a stellar show from start to finish, and everyone's just like, you know what, whatever they give us would just be great at this point. And I feel like there's 2 paths that they could go here. And the first path is probably unlikely, but this could also make it a perfect Direct. Now, if it was a perfect show, I'd say that the show would probably start with a big holiday game. I think this Direct needs at least one big game for the holidays, something that we weren't expecting, something that could at least give us some hype again, because we really haven't had a game like this. And I still believe it's down to Donkey Kong or a 2D Zelda game. It just makes the most sense. No, I don't think Prime 4 is ready. I think that's Switch 2, but I feel like there needs to be a big holiday game. There's 2 ways this could be a perfect Direct, in my opinion. The first way is if this big game is shown off as the first thing of the Direct and everything's kind of pushed down, and then the final thing is a huge, big 2025 game. Now, we know Nintendo said they're not going to be talking about Switch 2, but they don't even need to. All they need to do is show us the game and just say 2025. This could be the big 3D Mario we've been waiting for, Mario Kart, Metroid Prime 4, something Switch 2 related, but they don't say it. They just say, boom, coming in 2025. Man, that way you start the show with a big holiday game and end the show with a big 2025 2025 game, and I feel like that is a perfect show. We also have option 2. If Nintendo does not want to have a future game shown off here that's all saved for a Switch 2 presentation later on down the road, then Nintendo could start the show the way I said, with a remake, a big remake that fans have been asking for, and then just end the show with a big holiday game. I think that too would still make it a perfect direct. If they just ended the show with a big Donkey Kong or a big 2D Zelda game or something that we weren't even expecting, and just show it off and say, boom, here's your holiday title, and it's something big, exciting, and it gets fans excited for the end of the show. Either of these, I think, would be perfect ways to have a perfect Nintendo Direct from start to finish. But let's talk about those games for the holiday real quick. Yeah, I think there's a chance there could be something Donkey Kong. Now, my heart's telling me Nintendo's still just going to be waiting for Switch 2, but I also think of all the games that could be coming to Switch 2 year one. It's just like, can they even fit a Donkey Kong in there too? There's just so much. With a 3D Mario, a Mario Kart, Metroid Prime 4, maybe a Splatoon 4 based on some data mines recently. There's a lot that could be on the table, so it does make me wonder if they could even squeeze in Donkey Kong. It'd be, you know, a year 2 for Switch 2 before we even see Donkey Kong, which would be 2026. And then by then, it'd be like 12 years since the last Donkey Kong game. So yeah, it's confusing. I don't know. I think it could either be 2D or 3D. It's hard to say. If it is coming this holiday, something's telling me that it's going to be 2D. I could be wrong, but we're just going to have to wait and see. I really would want a 3D Donkey Kong, but obviously the other option being a 2D Zelda, and this one is kind of sounded more likely to me. I see this being an end of the console thing, just a really flashy, really big 2D top-down Zelda game that fans love. It's an original game, not a remake or anything like that, and you know, it's just a really good classic experience that fans have been wanting since the start of Breath of the Wild. To me, this isn't something that needs to wait for Switch 2. This is something that definitely could end on current Nintendo Switch, and I think people would absolutely love this. It'd be a great holiday title and a perfect time to announce it during the summer. I mean, seriously, this is just sounding more and more likely. I think even the rumors have suggested that it's going to be Zelda-focused, meaning playable Zelda? I don't know. There's been rumors saying it's called the Crown of Destiny. Who knows if that's true or has any merit at all, but I am excited to see what the heck this Zelda project could be if there is another one coming that's outside of the mainline, you know, open world style Zelda we've been getting recently. With all that remake, remaster, ports, and new game goodness, I feel like that is the perfect Nintendo Direct that we could ask for. I mean, it's everything that we could hope for before moving on to the next console and getting all the big bombshells for that console, like the Mario Karts and 3D Marios. So I think this Direct has a good chance to actually surprise us. And I'm not trying to just blindly hype us up and for the Direct to actually be mid at the end of it. No, I think this Direct actually is going to be pretty good. Whether it is just tons of old games or some sprinkles of new games as well, I think there's going to be something for everybody here. Let's see if Nintendo surprises us and just gives us a stellar show. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and let me know in the comments down below what you would like to add to this list to make it a quote-unquote perfect Nintendo Direct. Do you like this list? Would you change it up a little bit? Do you not like it? Definitely let me know down below, and thank you so much for tuning in, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.